Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm glad you stopped by. I have another book review for you. I hope that you have been enjoying them. I've been enjoying doing them. So without further ado, let's get into it. Today I'm going to be reviewing The Edge of Over There by Mr. Shawn Smucker. Now this book is the second in a trilogy of books, the first of which was called The Day That the Angels Fell. And I didn't read that one, so when I started this one, it took me a couple of chapters before I realized what was going on and had a better understanding of it. So I normally wouldn't start in the middle of a trilogy, but I didn't know that this was the second book, so I dealt with it. This is a fictional book geared towards young adults, teens, maybe some older children, and it's filled with adventure, and it was really fun to read. In this series of books, there are beings of darkness that are going around all throughout history, at different times, different places, trying to plant more trees of life. So in the hopes that humans will eat of it and live forever, have immortality in their fallen, sinful nature. Now the storyline follows Abra, a teenage girl, and she has been entrusted by the angels to wield this sword that is able to cut down these trees of life. And on her journey, on her mission, she meets other characters, human characters that help her, angelic characters. They're called beings of light, and then the demons are called beings of darkness. And the dark ones, they hinder her and try to keep her from destroying the tree of life. The majority of the story takes place on the edge of Over There, which is described as kind of the in-between place where souls pass through on their way to either heaven or hell. And because the doorways to this place have been opened, humans have wandered in, and because of that, a city has built up around them. And this is where Abra spends most of her time on her journey looking for this tree that she is trying to destroy. I want to give a word of caution. A running theme throughout this book is that death is a gift. And it's referring to in the Garden of Eden, when man had partaken of the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil, because of that, death came in so that man would not live eternally in that sinful fallen nature. So as your teen is reading this, or your young adult or child is reading this, be sure to talk to them about what that actually means, because, you know, if they don't have the background to what death is a gift really means, they can really turn it and take it into a very bad direction if you're not careful. So if they are reading this book, or if you end up reading this book, just be sure that they understand what that means, and that it is because of God's mercy that death came, and we don't have to live eternally in our fallen, corrupt nature. Make sure they understand that that's what that means. Also, I really wouldn't classify this as a Christian book. Yes, it has lots of different elements and symbolism. It has angelic beings and demonic beings and the tree of life and heaven and hell, and it has several elements that are biblical, but the storyline, I mean, it's really not, there's no Christ-centeredness to it, which I would think would be the purpose of a Christian book. It's purely fantasy and fictional, and it is meant for entertainment, and it really, if you're looking for something to develop your Christian life or lead you closer to the Lord, this is not the book for that. But it is for entertainment, so I just want you to be aware of that. On the plus side, this book was very entertaining, and I didn't want to put it down. While I was reading it, I didn't want to put it down. When I wasn't reading it, I wanted to be reading it, and that reminded me very much of the way that I would read books when I was a young adult. Writing was very excellent. The descriptive language that Mr. Smucker uses is the type that, like when he's describing the way something feels, the reader can feel it. When he's describing the way something tastes or the way something sounds, the way that he describes it, you can actually partake of these feelings and sounds and taste just by the way that he writes it. Now, you can't actually taste or hear or sense these things, but if you're an avid reader, then you know exactly what I mean, what I'm talking about. And the way that this man describes everything in his book is really great. Because of the writing and how well it was written, I got sucked in. I got sucked into the story. I'm not even gonna lie. Even though I was a little bit turned off by the lack of Christ-centeredness to it, I did get sucked into the book. I really liked it. I became emotionally attached to the characters, and that's the purpose of writing a good fictional book. That's the whole point of writing a good book, is to captivate your audience, and that is what this book did for me. I gave this book 5 stars. Mr. Smucker definitely deserves it. He's a very talented writer, and anyone who writes like that, even though I was disappointed in some elements of it, they definitely deserve, the 5 stars. So that is what I rated this. Now, the official release of this book won't be for another few days, but I'm going to go ahead and leave the link to where you can get this book down in the description box. It'll be off of Amazon, and also where you can get the first book in the trilogy, The Day That the Angels Fell, if you want to read it. A little disclaimer, I'm not sponsored by any of these authors or the publishing companies. I get the books for free to review on interviewsandreviews.com, and I get the book and I review it and I give my honest opinion. If I like the book, then I rate it high and I tell what I like about it. If I don't like the book, then I'll give it a low rating and tell why I didn't like it. So I just wanted you to know that, no one is paying me to do these reviews. I'm doing it because I enjoy it. I enjoy reading, and I enjoy reviewing the books and sharing it with you. So that being said, that's all I have for today. I'm waiting on the next one to come in the mail, and I think after I read that one and do the review, I'm going to take a tiny little break and get back into, I need to do more Bible reading. I've been slacking, and I need to put the other books aside for a little while and dig back into the Word of God. So it may be a while before I do another YouTube review. So just a heads up on that. So until next time, I just enjoy your journey. Thank God for His grace, and I'll see you later.